Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Let's see, let me get myself set up here. Boom, digga boom. How is everybody this morning? I'm excited to be here. Indeed, indeed. This information is so good. I am so glad you're participating in this. I really wouldn't want anybody to miss out on this. And this is free, and it's free to you to use as you need. So please just sit back and relax and let's, talk about mindset. I'm going to give it a minute for anybody to show up who wants to show up. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. So today's been a little bit different. It's been a little bit busy. So I'm not as non-reliant on notes as I usually am. But let's go ahead and get started. Got to make sure I have my water. I hope that you are constantly hydrating. Your brain is like 78% water, and our bodies are 65-70% water on average, 60 to 70% water. And we'll talk about that tomorrow, the importance of water and the importance of water in our lives and how we function, and in our brain science, our brain neuropathways and whatnot, the importance of our words and such. Okay. Well, before we really get started, I would like you to tune in to your breathing. Just at this moment, close your eyes if it helps, and tune in to the quality of your breath. Is it shallow? Is it a deep breath? Does it go deep and long and controlled? The importance of this is that our brains interpret that shallow breathing as anxiety and fear, like it will create anxiety and fear. So let's do this. Let's take some belly breaths together. Belly breathing is more than just deep breathing, and it's something that really should become a practice for us. What we do in belly breathing is you take your left hand or your right, whichever you want, one of your hands, and you place it on your belly. Okay. And then you place your other hand on your chest. Okay. And slow down and breathe. And as you do so, pay attention to if your belly goes out first or your chest. Because what we want is we want to fill our bellies and have our chest mostly stay in place. So try this with me. Place one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest, and begin to inhale. We're going to do this 5 times. That's 1. 2. 3. This is really nice to do while you're laying down. 4. And 5. Okay. Now, as you breathe, feel into your body and focus on slowing that roll and allowing the deeper breaths. Okay. What's important for, negative thinking and anxiety and cognitive distortions are as physical as they are mental. So in fact, our brains interpret physical pain as emotional pain and our brains interpret it in the exact same way. Sorry, let me fix this here. And she's back, everybody. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay. So shallow breathing is a signal of stress to your brain, and it will actually change your chemistry to help with this loop of anxiety that is looping through your central nervous system. So what's important for us is to fully embrace that negative thinking, anxiety, and depression are as much about what plays over and over again in our mind as it is about our physiology. So change really can only come holistically. You can't think your way into a new mindset alone. It has to be holistic. The model of thought that a lot of us grew up with was that these were mental only, and it's something that runs in the family: depression, anxiety, whatnot, and disease, right? If you're in this group, we are fighting inflammation and chronic disease and pain. And so the thought was always like, well, it's in your genes, you're predestined to get this, you're more likely to get this. And today we know that science shows that while genetic plays a part in the predisposition, it's not what actually pulls the trigger. What pulls the trigger in our condition is lifestyle and our gut biome. So the genetics pack the gun, but it's what we nourish ourselves with, what our continuous thoughts are, what we feed our bodies that actually pull the trigger. And the science on this is extremely clear, and the importance of our gut biome, as we know, is huge. So while we were in utero, our guts and our brain were actually together. They developed together in utero. Okay, so we were like this, and then we folded open, and our guts are down here and our brains are up here, but they stay connected. They've stayed connected through our vagus nerve. And so when we have the balance disrupted in our biome, it connects through our vagus nerve, okay, our main superhighway, to our brain. So we know that the nutrition is huge. And we know that the nutrition is incredibly important towards anxiety and depression and just rumination, being in this fight or flight or flee mode. And so, so the science has been really, really cool. In any case, these two, they're not only siblings, our gut and our brain, but they're like twins, right? They're like twins with their own special language. So it's no wonder that depression and anxiety and our gut biome go hand in hand. So let's acknowledge a few other things first, okay? When we're born, we inherit our mother's gut biome. Unless you were born by C-section, then it's a little bit different. You don't inherit it fully. But for most of us, when we're born, we inherit our mother's gut biome. And so we've started with that. The quality of your mother's biome becomes the quality of your biome. That's the basis of where you start. But your mindset, your attitudes towards things, your responses, your ability to be a force for change, many of the thoughts you repeat, those were also handed down to you. So acknowledge, okay, these were passed down to you. This is what you were set up with. But as an adult, you actually are in charge of them now. And there's a lot of science that and a lot of research that backs so much of what I'm going to talk about here. I mean, like we get to choose the foods, right? And we get to choose how we manage stress. And I just want to say that it's natural. Like, this is what I'm getting at. You inherited these. They're natural things to human beings to have anxiety, to have negative thoughts, and to be in stress. Okay, let's also acknowledge that. Either way, they're impeding your health journey now. And as an adult, and with all that is available, becoming empowered to take these actions is massive. So well done on doing that. So on a physical level, it can be said that many of us have been walking around with overactive nervous systems, right? The negativity, the anxiety, the ruminating thoughts, they're all so well practiced. I mean, we've been walking around, many of us, for a lifetime, repeating these thoughts or holding these beliefs about ourselves. And I know many of you have tried to be like positive, or to use positive affirmations, or to just like ultimately quit doing these things because they don't seem to work. And I know lots of you have tried meditation, but really struggle. And maybe you even feel anxious during meditation. It happens for a lot of people. And these things happen, and they have everything to do with your subconscious keeping you safe. So we also need to embrace that your body and your mind are both doing their best. Your body is doing its best. Pain is a signal that something needs to change. So when you're in pain, that's actually not you not functioning. That's your body functioning perfectly, saying, this isn't right, something needs to change. Okay, so it's the same with your mind. Every time you're like on a conscious level, I'm going to do this, I've got this, and you go towards something, and then you just lapse right back into your old ways of being, that is your subconscious working to perfection. That is your brain doing its job. So let's also acknowledge that you are a wondrous being. Like, you are wonderful and beautiful, and there are modalities for change. So I mean, again, good job on being here. And learning these things and becoming equipped is super important. Okay, so relying on my notes today. So these nerves are trapped in a system, in our nervous system. They're trapped in a loop, okay? And they must be discharged physically as well as emotionally, okay? As well as taking care of that gut biome. And they have to be practiced and practiced. So like, first, your brain's first job, its top priority, is to keep you safe. What your brain's biggest threat is the unknown. So even dropping down into your body and leaving your headspace and quietly listening to your body can feel threatening. And to many people, it does. And that is on a subconscious level because it doesn't feel safe. So even on a conscious level, if you know that meditation is really good for you and you continue to try to do it, it's going to continue to be difficult to do because it doesn't feel safe yet to drop down into your body and to leave that headspace. This is why you might want to make a change, and you feel so strongly and you're determined to make this change, and you know what you need to do. And even though you start out strong, right, you lapse right back into your old ways of being, even when it's just your own thought pattern that you want to change. So your brain really fears the unknown. Okay, why? Because it's not safe. It's unknown. This is exactly why people stay in abusive relationships, or if you're raised in a home with a lot of belittling or stress or being yelled at, it's what's known to you. And so it's what's known to your brain, and it's what feels safe. So it's better, your subconscious thinks, to stay there than it does to branch out and move into the unknown. So I'm going to give you some tools, but these tools need to be used to slowly open the window of your subconscious, to widen your subconscious's safety zone, so to speak. I don't even suggest that you try doing them all right away. Don't even try to do them all this week. The whole point, and one of the biggest messages that I'm trying to convey, is that it needs to be a slow opening and a slow process, so that your subconscious doesn't snap you right back in, right? You're just making it a little bit wider. And even think of this as expansion as opposed to change, because that's what you're doing. You're expanding what your subconscious is allowing in. You're expanding your safety zone, so to speak. So let's see. Yeah, and if you decide to like try and do things right away, your subconscious is just going to snap you right back into place. And then that's just going to lead to frustration, right? And then not making any progress and not wanting to move forward. So, and your subconscious will win. It does every time. Your subconscious will win every time. So again, this takes a holistic approach to doing it. Movement is very important. Okay, movement and consistency. Again, these negative thoughts have been practiced for a lifetime. And anti-inflammatory nutrition is also so important in regulating that nervous system. Can't emphasize that enough. So whether you're slowly, rather what you're going to do, instead of changing things quickly, we're going to slowly gain credibility with yourself by making slow changes and small changes. Okay, your subconscious needs to know that this is safe. And we're also going to work on the physiology, physically moving things out. So the very first step in all of this is to become aware of your thoughts and your state of being. You can't change something if you're not aware of what it is, which is why I shared in the toolbox the list of cognitive distortions, which we will go over. So once you're aware, you're going to actively spend less time with these thoughts, and then you'll begin practicing new beliefs. Again, it's not an overnight fix, it's a constant practice. And having an accountability partner or a group to be accountable with is really important. It's really helpful, and it's a fantastic way to invest in yourself as opposed to a gym that you might not go to. And so sorry, it's the notes. I apologize for that. So this isn't also necessarily going to be comfortable. It's exciting, but it is not necessarily a comfortable thing. And again, take your time and feel good going through the process as opposed to feeling rushed or pressured. I mean, this is deep subconscious work that we're talking about. And it's important to the quality of your life and ultimately your overall health. So I'm going to give you some tools to become aware of your thought patterns as well as your state of your body. And I'm going to give you a few recommended tools to begin practicing this week. Okay, first, let's go over our cognitive distortions. Let me share my screen with you with more success this time. All right, let's go over this one. Share. Okay, so thinking traps. These are what I want you to become aware of, these thinking traps. Okay, the first one, I'll just go over the titles, so not to spend too much time, but the first one is all or nothing thinking, black and white thinking. It's either this or it's that, right? The next one is jumping to conclusions, forming an opinion without having all of the necessary knowledge, right, before you create that opinion. Emotional reasoning, okay, assuming that things are a certain way because that's how you feel about them. Overgeneralizing is another thing to be looking out for. Ignoring the good. A lot of people just shut down the good right away. Okay, that is a thinking trap and one that you need to be aware of. The next ones that I want to go over, let's do this. Let's stop here and let's go to, boom, this one. This one I see a lot of: catastrophizing, blowing things way out of proportion and then focusing everything towards that idea of it being blown out of proportion. Should statements. How many of you should all over yourselves all the time? I know that's one I do, definitely. Unfairly judging yourself. You're so lame, so stupid. Yeah, I do that one too. Accepting helplessness, something a lot of people do. And so you just give up and stop trying. And then perfectionism. So these are the main cognitive distortions that I would like you to become aware of this week. Okay. And then on top of that, I would like you to do one of two things. Now, as we do, one more thing about the thinking traps that I would like you to become aware of, start looking for them, okay, is that 90% of what we do is driven by our subconscious, okay? 90% of what we do, even our thinking patterns and our reactions, those are memorized habits that our subconscious relies on. And so 90% of all of our actions and thoughts in the day are driven by these subconscious beliefs. Okay, so you will be on autopilot and you will slip into these things. And I just want you to start looking and listening to those thoughts so that you can label them as one of those cognitive distortions. Okay, so I would like you to do one of two things. Okay, when you're, okay, so the first one, sorry. Okay, so the first one is to follow your breath in and follow your breath out, practicing belly breathing. Okay, as you practice the breaths, even 5 breaths is okay. Become aware of your body, tuning in to how your body is feeling. Okay, now if you choose to do this one, what I would recommend is that you begin when the alarm goes off or when you wake up in the morning. Okay, while you're laying in bed, do the 5 calming belly breaths. And if you would like, set an alarm for later in the day. And when the alarm goes off, check your body, check what your breathing is doing. If it's that shallow, anxious breathing that I think you might know I'm talking about, and tune in and quiet down and practice the belly breathing. Okay, so either adapt that this week or aim to adapt that this week. Or the second one, again, when you wake up, immediately before any other thoughts come in, move into a place of gratitude. And I'm not really talking about a checklist of gratitude so much as connecting emotionally with what it is that you're grateful for. And this can be simple. It doesn't have to be huge. Like it can be your pillow. You can be thankful for your pillow. You can be thankful for your warm bed. You can be thankful for the air in your lungs. It does not have to be an object. It can be an event. It can be something that inspires you, right? But go for less of a shopping list and more a few things that you can really hone in on and connect and feel the gratitude within your body. And just spend 3, 4, 5 minutes in bed doing that before starting the day. Okay. So exercise, movement, anti-inflammatory eating, quality sleep, hydration, grounding, tapping, they're all part of the anti-inflammatory lifestyle, and they're practices to be lived out and to be working towards, and each affect your biome and your mental health. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and it's also fascinating. So my hope is that you're already practicing some of these. Additionally, journaling is also a well-known, powerful tool for change. And in the toolkit that I've sent you, there are several journal questions. Please begin to work on those. Take your time, as it is a process. Don't pressure yourself through. Okay. You don't want to overwhelm the subconscious so that it shuts right back down. But make a small practice to yourself to begin practicing the breathing or the gratitude each morning, and begin looking for your thought patterns, becoming aware of your triggers. Okay, you can use an alarm clock to check in with yourself, or a wristband. That's something that a lot of people do. They'll, not a wristband, but a rubber band. And when you look at the rubber band, I'm like losing my voice. Take a sip of water. When you look at the rubber band, you are reminded to check in with your body, check in with your breathing, take those few belly breaths. Okay. What else? Oh, tomorrow I'm going to talk about our brain's algorithm and how it reflects the social media algorithm. Okay. And we're also going to go deeper into our words, and we're going to talk about tapping and why tapping is a very effective technique. And I will also take you through tapping, which I'm super excited to do. Okay, so don't miss out. Please reach out if you have questions for me. If you have not signed up for this, awesome. I'm glad you're watching, but I encourage you to sign up so that you can get the toolkit. Okay, that's it. I look forward to tapping with you tomorrow, and make it a great day, my friends. Bye.